Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sometimes crocheting, but always all of the yarny goodness that I love. Today is Thursday, April 14th, and I am coming to you from Nebraska, where I live with my husband Jeff, our daughter Jenna, and our cat Reese's. It is episode 48, so I'm so happy to be back with you guys after a couple of weeks and share what I've been up to. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry and my Etsy shop as cbcraftygirl, and on Ravelry we do have a podcast group of Carla Knits, and we currently have a Love Your Stash Mel make-along going on, which goes for the entirety of this year. Details can be found over in the group, and all things I talk about and links to those places and the Ravelry group can be found in the show notes down below. So that make-along goes the entirety of this year, and it's to make things using your stash. So anything that was in your yarn stash prior to January 1st. And there's lots of beautiful finished objects. We are well into the 360s, I believe now. So you guys are doing great. It's just so much fun to see all of the beautiful things that you all are making. Shawls, sweaters, some smaller items like dishcloths or baby knits. It's just so much fun. Socks, it's wonderful. I think one of my most favorite ones recently was a pair of mittens that someone made for, I believe it was their 93-year-old father. So I thought that was really special, and there was a picture of him wearing those mittens. So I think that was really neat. And in the chatter thread, so much going on in that chatter thread. So I just looked again this morning. So just sharing a couple things. It really is a nice group to chat with, and it's a lot of time it's about knitting, but there's other stuff that gets chatted about too. So most recently within this chatter thread, rescuing a kitten that came up, and there were pictures of a sweet little kitten that got rescued. Talking about the weather. I know the Pacific Northwest got some snow recently. Someone is test knitting a sock pattern and her needles broke. Hi Brittany, if you're watching. Talking about reading books, frogging projects, starting new projects. So anything you want to talk about, it's just a real fun place to do that. So someone suggested, gosh, maybe we want to just start a chatter thread. So just a generic chatter thread. So I think for this year, we probably will just stick with the chatter thread in this make along, but then next year, maybe we will just do a general chatter thread for the Carla Knits podcast, because it sure is fun. Seeing what other people are up to, and it just kind of makes you feel connected to other knitters and crocheters. So that's what's going on there. And I draw quarterly prizes. So that means, again, I will draw a prize in April, May, June. The first podcast in July. So that would be following June. Yep. So the first podcast in July, I will be drawing more prizes for that make along. Today we have a pattern giveaway. Excuse me. So Gazal Mohammed generously donated a copy of her pattern. She gifted me a copy of her newest pattern, the Abyss socks, and she is also offering it up to one of you YouTube viewers. So to enter this giveaway, and I'm going to put a picture in here of her socks. To enter the giveaway, just comment down below, and you can comment anything you want. So it really can be anything. Tell me about your weather. Tell me what projects you're working on. Really, anything you want to comment just enters you into the drawing for a copy of her newest sock pattern. And if you've been with me a while, you may remember that I knit a couple of her socks last year. So the first one, and gosh, I should have looked up what they were called, but this was the first one. And it has a really fun texture across the front, the top of the foot. And I believe this was the first time I really learned to cable without cable needles, was because of this sock. So with her sock patterns, I feel like I have learned new things each time. So this was the first sock that I knit of Gazal's. And then the second sock I test knit for her. And this was a really cute sock. It's got those fun little bobbles along the cuff. And then the heel flap was slightly different with this pearl ridge. And I really liked that, how that worked out. It left no holes to kind of fill in. So I really enjoyed that sock pattern too. So like I said, I feel like I've learned some things with her patterns, which is really exciting. So Gazal, thank you so much for donating or for gifting me the pattern of your new socks, and also for donating to the podcast. So please comment down below to be entered into the giveaway for that sock pattern, which will be delivered to your Ravelry inbox, I guess. And I will announce the winner on our next podcast. So thank you again, Gazal, so very much. All right, let's see. I think that's all of the admin type stuff at the top of the episode. So we will get into finished objects. I know last time was kind of a bumper episode with all of those finished objects. This is not the case this time, but that's okay. I have one finished object today, and this is my Moondance hat. This is by Darcy of Chit Knits. And I don't know if you can see, I'm going to try to hold it close. There are beads in this texture. So this was my first time doing a beaded project. I absolutely loved it. It does take some time doing the bead work on there, but I think it was well worth it. In hindsight, I wish I had used a bead that was a little bit more contrasty. I think it's hard probably to see because I matched the color of the bead so well to the yarn. The yarn is Rowan Designer DK. I got it on Etsy. I don't know if that yarn is still available, but it was really nice to work with. It blocked really well. I put it, you know, I let it soak for a while in the sink with some wool wash, and then I towel dried it, and then I set it outside on my front porch, on a little table on the front porch to dry. And later that day, Jeff came in and he said, this hat was in the bushes. So our wind has been kind of strong, so it did blow it down, but no harm done, no harm done. So I really love how this hat turned out. It was a long brim, so 5 inches, but well worth it. So you can wear it either very slouchy or you can wear it doubled for warmth on those ears. So speaking of this pattern and the designer Darcy, she has generously offered up a coupon code to Carla Knits viewers. So her designs are on Ravelry, Chit Knits, and I will link her down below as well. And she has offered 30% off her patterns through May 31st, 2022. And you just need to use the code CK30 at checkout. So Darcy, thank you so very much. This hat was the second hat that I made. If you've been with me, you remember this hat that I knit earlier this year. And Darcy designed this pattern with proceeds going to the American Heart Association. So just a very generous generous designer and knitter. And again, the long brim. I loved making both of these hats. They were super fun patterns. So she has a number of hat patterns, cowl patterns, some shawls. It looks like some fingerless mitts. So some lovely patterns that are already reasonably priced, and she generously is giving us 30% off. So please go check out her shop or her pattern designs on Ravelry and use that code CK30 at checkout. So thank you again so much, Darcy. And I just wanted to share this. This was kind of fun. This hat that I knit was part of a knit along that she was helping host. So Pair of Hearts knit along, that was the name of the design. She has this hat and she has a cowl. And so it was an Instagram knit along, and I was one of the winners. And so Darcy gifted me this bag. Isn't this so cute with the yarn balls? I absolutely love it. So it's a nice zipper bag, a good sweater size bag. And it's got some really cute little stitch markers on there. So I absolutely love that. I was so surprised. So thank you again, Darcy, for that. I truly love that, and I will have a project going in here very, very soon. All right, so that is my only finished object for today. I do have a half object. Can you guess? If you guessed sock, you're right. All right, this is my first sock done. This is the Obata sock by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. This is a pattern that is in the fall 2021 issue of Vogue Knitting. It is not available to purchase as an individual pattern on Ravelry at this time, but I got the magazine. I think I got it on Amazon or maybe through another yarn shop, but you may be able to find that still at your local yarn store. But I love how this sock turned out. The texture is so fun. It has been a while since I've done a pattern on a sock as opposed to just, you know, straight vanilla or straight stockinette knitting. So this texture was really, really fun. It's really squishy. The yarn is by Lolodidit, and this is a Downton Abbey club color that she dyed for last June. And this pretty speckled yarn is called, let's see, Mrs. Patmore's Cottage. And then the contrasting toe is Orchard Lane. So where Mrs. Patmore on Downton Abbey built her, or had her, not built, but had her bed and breakfast. So the umbrella toe is the toe that I used that was in the pattern, and that is the first time that I have done an umbrella toe, and that was really fun just to try something new. And the sock fits really well. It's nice and cozy. So I will be so happy to have this pair when it gets done. But it's a little time consuming with the fingering weight yarn. I'm working on a couple fingering weight projects, so they are taking some time. But that moves me into my whips, which I have the sock. I cast this on just last night. I figured I've got to do this. I've just got to get this sock on the needles. So I've gotten through the cuff, and the cuff is really pretty. The ribbing is a, what do I want to say, twisted broken rib, something. So it just, if you can see that detail, it's just really pretty. It's just such a feminine, pretty sock. I absolutely love it. So I will keep working on my sock. Yeah, I think that is all to say about that. The yarn is really nice to work with. It feels so good. I absolutely love that. I can't remember what base of yarn it is on. I think it's 90% merino, 10% nylon, I think I could be wrong about that, but it's a really, really soft yarn. And just touching it at first, it almost feels like it has cashmere in it. It's really nice to work with. All right, so I got that yarn actually on a D-stash on Etsy last year. I was just looking for Downton Abbey yarn, or themed yarn, because I love that show, and I'm so anxious for the new movie to come out. I keep waiting. So I think it's being released sometime in May in the United States. So any other Downton Abbey fans out there? Yep, I truly love it. All right, so on to some more whips. I signed up for a test knit. I saw it on Instagram. Live in Crafts put out a call for her newest shawl design, and it's called Simplistic Beauty Shawl. Just for it only requires 1 skein of yarn, and we all have lots of beautiful skeins, or I should say I have lots of single skeins of fingering weight yarn. So that's what it called for. I will insert the picture here of the shawl, and it is very bright. But you probably would expect that of me. So I have gotten a lot done on this test knit. I don't do a lot of test knitting, simply because I know myself pretty well, and when I put a deadline or have a deadline on myself, it just creates a lot of anxiety in me. But this came out, a little earlier this month, and it has a May 1st deadline. 1 skein of yarn, very doable. So with my stitch count, I have, I think, 15 rows to go, and then a bind off, and she offers, I believe, 3 different bind off options in her pattern. And so I am going to do the picot edging because I think that is so pretty, and that's what is pictured in her pattern. But the yarn, this bright, beautiful yarn, is by a homespun house, and that's pretty good. I've knit a lot of that. So a homespun house. It's a merino single base, and the colorway is Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. So a Harry Potter reference, but I absolutely love this color. It is just so bright and fun to work with. I have not worked with a fingering weight single ply yarn before. It is so soft. Gosh, I absolutely love it. And I know the tendency is there will be some pilling with that single ply, but oh, it is just lovely. It feels so nice. I did knit a DK weight shawl a number of years ago with single ply DK weight, and it's very lightweight. I absolutely love the shawl. It's very cozy, but there is a little pilling or just fuzz halo on it. So I don't really mind. I guess not as much pilling, but more fuzz on it. So I love how this is going. It's a very, well, it says simplistic beauty shawl, so it's very meditative. It's just very relaxing to work on this. It's very good if you TV knitting. I imagine if you can knit in the movie theater, this would be just fine. So I've absolutely loved knitting on this while Jeff and I watch TV or while I'm catching a podcast here and there. So again, it has a May 1st deadline, but I feel confident that will get done. How about you guys? Are you test knitters? Do you enjoy that? I like the idea of test knitting, and especially sweaters. I see some beautiful sweaters out there, or some other shawls, or well, anything. I see lots of beautiful things, but to commit to such a big project, and some of the turnarounds are so very fast that I just know I can't do that to myself. I guess I know that about myself now, but this has been a true pleasure. So I will let you know when this comes out. So if you have any single skeins that you weren't sure what you want to do with, this would be a lovely pattern to work with. Yeah. My last active work in project is my Kaiser tee. And so I've put a lot of work into this also. So that's where I was the last time we spoke. And so I have made several inches down the body. So I was alternating skeins. When I did the lace portion at the top, I was just using one skein of yarn. Once I got past the lace portion, I started alternating skeins of yarn using the helical method of knitting. And then I ran out of that first skein. And so I have just continued down the body with the skein that, or with the remaining yarn that I have. So I still have a good bit of that, but I still do have some length that I want to put on this. So I do still have another skein of this yarn, which I should say what the yarn is. This is a Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Authentic Hand-Dyed Tonal. It's a fingering weight yarn in the Plush Blush colorway. So a really, really lovely color. So I may start helical knitting again down here, and then just a little bit of work will need to be done for the sleeves. But this is really coming along, and I'm really happy with how it's working up. But I have 3 fingering weight projects: this, the socks, and the shawl. This one's going a little faster because it's on a bigger needle, but yeah, 3 fingering weight projects. That's okay. That's okay. It's probably the time of year to be working with fingering weight anyways, as the weather maybe will start getting warmer for us. I am very determined to get this done by the end of April. I'm saying that here. So by the end of April, because 2 of my friends in my weekly knitting group, we are going to just do a little informal knit along, like a spring sweater knit along. And so, excuse me. And so I'd really like to get this one done before I start on the new sweater. So I really, I have reason to get that done so I can move on to a new sweater project. So with that, I guess I will go into some chatter and some upcoming knitting plans. So I just, my friend Lois has a couple of beautiful sweaters that she has worn recently, that she has made within the last year. Some really nice ones that would be great for spring and summer. And so I thought it would be really fun to make a sweater. So to make one of the patterns. So the 2 patterns that I am looking at, the directo, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and I did not write down who that's by. I apologize, but I'm going to put a picture of that in here. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. I've seen it on a couple of podcasts. I love the way it looks. I really like how Lois has turned out. And so that is one of my choices. And I did get yarn for this. So on a side note, yeah, I'm still using stash yarn, but yeah, I'm buying yarn too. That's okay. That's okay. But for that directo, and please correct me if there's a different way to pronounce it, the called for yarn is Barocco Remix Light, and this has a color number on it, 66977, but I think when online when I ordered it from Lovecrafts, it was Pool. But it's a really pretty color, and I like that it has some flecks of color in it too. It's got some pinks and red flecks in there. So this is a nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen blend. So lots of different fibers in there, but with the cotton and linen, that's going to be a nice yarn for a spring or summer garment. The other sweater is called Sunshine Coast. And again, I did not write down the designer. I'll insert a picture. And I really liked this sweater too. Longer sleeves, or maybe 3/4 sleeves. But I like the detailing along the sides. It kind of is more A-line shape a little bit. So I do have some yarn ordered for that one too, which should be coming. So certainly by the next podcast, I can show you that. I think I'm leaning towards doing this sweater right now simply because it's short sleeve and it's probably a little more wearable. But I think I would like to make the other sweater as well, because our Nebraska weather, once it turns hot, it stays hot, usually well into October. So I feel like I could really get use out of both sweaters this year, if I make them this year. So those are some sweater plans that I'm thinking about. I've been making a dishcloth each month using the Kitchen Sink Shop's dishcloth club. She sends out a dishcloth pattern at the beginning of the month, and you can sign up on her newsletter. So she is linked down below too. And her yearly dishcloth is based on books. So April's is The Shire. And what is it? The Hobbit? Do I have that right? I have not read that. I think that's right. If it's not, you can scream at the screen and tell me what it is, or comment down below. But I'll insert a picture of the pattern here. And I did not have a good green in my yarn, my cotton yarn. So I actually found this at Dollar General. So this is not going to be a very soft cotton to work with. I haven't been to Lincoln in a while. I live it takes a good half hour to 40 minutes to get to a yarn store, or like to a Joann's or a Hobby Lobby. So I had wanted to go to Hobby Lobby and pick up some dishcloth cotton, just because, yeah, the stiff cotton is kind of hard on the hands, but I didn't want to drive. So I found this at Dollar General, and it's a cotton. It feels very similar to like your peaches and cream or sugar and cream. So I liked the color a lot. I think that will be perfect for this dishcloth. So I do plan on casting this on and hopefully getting that done in this month for April. All right, let's see what else. Oh, I did purchase a new shawl pattern this week. I'll insert it here. This is the Flutter Wrap by Tiff Nealon. I really like her designs. I don't think I've ever knit any, but I've been eyeing them a lot. Yes, I look at any new things that come out of hers. I really like what she puts out. So the Flutter Wrap I actually saw on the Carla Knits podcast. Grace on that podcast test knit the shawl for her, or she was one of the test knitters, and I really, really liked it. So that came out recently, this week, I guess it was. And so that is something that I really would maybe like to cast on as well. So lots of plans, and of course, you know, the duck I talked about last week, I want to do that. But there's only so much time in the day, but you know, dreaming about all of the knitting projects is half of the fun too. So I enjoy that. Do you dream about all of the projects you want to make? What are you working on? Or what are you dreaming of casting on or crocheting? A couple bags I wanted to show you that will be added to the shop soon. So I feel like this is like all of the animals. So these are animal bags. This one is cats. So I really thought this print was cute, and I have a cat, so I really, oh, some fluff. I just thought those cats were so cute. This little guy down here reminds me of my cat Reese's, and the way he's peeking up over the edge there. I just thought that was so fun. And then it's lined inside with a kind of the same print that, or a color that coordinates with that like tealy blue, or I'm not sure what you call that, minty blue. I don't know. It reminds me of like a 50s blue. But anyway, so I have a couple sock size sacks. So most of these are going to be sock size. So that's cats. And then this one, I thought these animal friends were just so peaceful. I just thought this was a really fun print for spring. So the flowers and the animals, I just thought were really fun. And a kind of a golden color on the interior. But I thought those were really sweet. Yeah, I guess I was just really into the animals. So I don't know if I would call these like zoo animal friends, or some are zoo-ish, some are circusy, but I love that little guy, the lion, and then this little crocodile or alligator with the bow tie. I think he is just so fun. So that interior is just a plain creamy white color. So I have those sock sizes. And then I have a couple of large sizes of this print. I just think, I don't have a dog, but I thought these dogs were just the cutest things. So much fun. So this is the large size, and it has a mint interior, and it has a coordinating gray pocket with some stars on it. So I have a couple of the large size, and then just one of the sock size in this. But I just think those dogs are so cute. I think they just remind me out of dogs that would be, you know, maybe in a children's book. Isn't this, yeah, so posh, this dog. Yeah, so I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of children's book illustrations a little bit. Yeah, I just thought that was fun fabric. So those bags will be going in the shop very, very soon. All right, let's see, a little bit of chatter, what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. Lots of knitting, lots of sewing, lots of playing organ for church. I played 3 services last weekend over Palm Sunday. I do play this coming Saturday. I have one Easter Vigil service to play for. So there has been lots of practicing the last couple of weeks. Our weather has been up and down, and I know lots of you probably experiencing the same thing. On Tuesday this week, it got as high as 90 degrees here. And if you've been with me a while, you know I don't like the heat, but it was 90 degrees. And then we had storms come through. There actually was a confirmed tornado in our county. No real damage, so thankfully for that. And the temperature went down, and the next day's high was only 50. So we have had some of those real dramatic shifts in temperatures. And our wind, I mean, there have been days when the wind has just been going nonstop, gusting upwards of 50, 60 miles per hour. There was one day where it was gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour. So yeah, we've just had a lot of windy days. So I've lived in Nebraska for nearly 20 years, and you know, it was really something when we first moved here, the wind, and I am still not used to it. It just seems, I don't know, it's just so strange that the wind can be such a constant all of the time here. So lots of wind. Other than that, our Easter plans, we of course will be going to church in the morning, singing in the choir, And then we are going to my son's for Easter dinner, and I am bringing deviled eggs, so I will be making those this weekend. That'll be fun. Our school year at the college where I teach piano is rapidly coming to an end. I have, let's see, I have Easter Monday off, but then I believe there's only 2 weeks left in the semester. So the semester has gone by fast. March and April have gone by very, very fast. Yeah, this year just seems to be flying by. And maybe just as I get older, time seems to move a little quicker. So with that, I think that is all I have to share with you today. I hope that you have all been well and enjoying your spring or snow wherever you might be. I know, out west you guys have had snow, so I hope you enjoyed it, even though it's not the time of year for it. But I hope you are all doing well and having fun with the things that you enjoy most. And have a blessed Easter if you celebrate Easter. And I will see you again in a couple weeks. Take care. Oh, one more thing before I say goodbye. Don't forget to comment down below for your chance to be entered in for that sock pattern drawing. And then also use that coupon code for Chit Chat Knit Designs on Ravelry. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.